It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. It's Monday evening, July 10th. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. We're covering crude oil, S&P, gold, euro, and DAX tonight. Crude is bullish and trying to push through today's high, so we're looking for traps to avoid buying high while keeping an eye out for a possible reversal tomorrow as well. The S&P is bearish and rotating back to today's low, and we're watching for a hidden channel along with some two-legged corrections for some traps for the most reliable selling opportunities back down to the low tomorrow. Gold is bullish as it rotates inside a very wide wedge this evening, which tells us to look for traps and failures down at those wedge lows for a rotation and a measured move target for tomorrow. The euro is bullish and trying to rotate back to the extreme of the trading range tomorrow after the sellers tried and failed twice earlier today. And of course, the FDAX is bullish and trying to complete a measured move and a possible pendulum swing tomorrow, but a trading range is telling us we need to trade carefully. Got a great newsletter in store for you guys and gals tonight. We got a big week ahead of us. We got some big news. We got some big ranges to work with. We got some strong trends, some trading ranges. I got a great video in store for you guys and gals tonight. Before we jump in and put the plan together for Tuesday's session, I do want to remind you the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is on our blog here at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link and come join me here on the blog at Sideways Markets for the full-length version. While you're here, don't forget, join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when the nightly newsletter goes live. Follow me on social, Stock Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, right, LinkedIn, whatever your channel of choice is. Follow me on social throughout the week for good links, charts, and updates throughout the week. Grab those charts. How easy is that? All the charts from tonight's video, you can follow that link and download those charts, have them ready for your computer tomorrow. Follow that link below the video on the blog here tonight. And please don't forget to grab your free pass. If you're not an advanced member here at schooloftrade.com, you're going to learn more with me in 90 minutes on that free pass than you will anywhere else on the interwebs. I can pretty much guarantee you that. Grab that free pass in the upper right-hand corner. And don't forget, I'm always here to help. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on the live support tool on the right-hand side of the website. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Back for another big week here. Let's jump in. We got some big news here this week coming right around the corner. This, of course, being the second full week of the month. We've got some important stuff happening here this week. First of all, we got the semi-annual testimony from our gal, Janet Yellen. She'll be coming into picture 8:30 on Wednesday morning, and of course repeating her event right on Thursday. So Wednesday, Thursday are going to be a little bit of a wait and see right now. Usually when these things happen, usually it's an early in. And then later on in the day, right, once she finishes up and the market kind of cools off a little bit, right, then we start seeing, right, some reaction afterwards. So usually there's a break right in the middle of the day when Janet Yellen speaks, but just be aware of that. Obviously tomorrow's Tuesday, so we're not going to worry too much about Wednesday, Thursday right now, but that's going to be coming Wednesday, Thursday. So think about it this way. Tomorrow, because you go to Summertime Friday on July 14th, we may see tomorrow as kind of the last full session of the week. I know it sounds pretty crazy about that, but Wednesday, Thursday are going to be all yellowified, and of course Friday, well, it's going to be a summertime Friday, so it'll be early in, early out on Friday. So we're looking to make the most of it tomorrow. Tuesday, July the 11th. Tomorrow, we really don't have a lot of news on the calendar here for tomorrow. Got a kind of a small news event there from the housing starts right in Canada. Remember, they're all watching that housing bubble in Canada. They're kind of going through the same thing we went through right about 10 years ago, our friends to the north. I think really the only news that's worthy tomorrow really in the U.S. session is going to be that JOLTS report. But, 10 o'clock, top of the hour, you don't really need news at 10 o'clock, right, to expect some volatility. We're expecting to see some pretty good volatility around 10 o'clock anyways every day, but you got some JOLTS report tomorrow, that job openings, layoffs, transfer survey, which, by the way, is Janet Yellen's favorite jobs report as well. So get some minor news tomorrow. I think tomorrow you're probably going to see a lot of traders jump on this just because they're going to look at Janet Yellen on Wednesday, Thursday, knowing that always kind of gets in the way. And so, of course, tomorrow, expecting to have a really good day tomorrow. Don't forget, we're going to be in our trade room tomorrow morning executing this strategy along with all of our advanced members. Come on, join me tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Let's jump right in. We got crude, S&P, gold, euro, and we'll wrap up tonight with a good old FDAX. Crude is bullish and trying to complete a measured move tomorrow, but we're trading at today's high and struggling to show proof that these buyers are interested in buying this high on the chart. Now, when we see the S&P chart in just a moment, this is going to look a lot, right? Everything will kind of clear up for you guys here. But basically right now, the bulls clearly have control, but seeing the buyers take profit at the highs earlier today tells us this may end up as one big range tomorrow if these bulls can't hold this recent two-legged pullback. The plan for tomorrow is to be very careful buying high. My goal right now is to look for traps and failures at support levels with a target going back to the high and possibly, right, that measured move target just about that 45 big round number tomorrow. Now, we're also watching for a possible reversal, right? And again, we'll look at the S&P chart in just a few moments and you'll see what might be a little bit of foreshadowing for crude oil, right, on the S&P chart, but possible for a trend reversal. Now, the big thing right now is there's no reason to call this a bear market. We definitely have a market that went back to its high, made the measured move at 76, but now needs to show us some more here or else it's going to probably collapse right back down to that low at 43.65. I think the most important clue on this chart is what happened right there. I think that's going to be seen as the most important clue on this chart because let's not forget, right? We started off as a bear market lower as of about 9 a.m. though. Those bears had higher lows, and of course it was quickly off the races and the bulls took control. The bulls had control for most of the session today, again up until about 8:45 this morning, right, when those bulls took control, right? The bears had control. So of course, strong move down, right? Anytime the market changes direction, we know the objective is always to go back to the high, right? Go back to the opposite side, right? So they go back to the opposite side and look what happens. You can almost hear the record, right? The record coming to a stop, right? As it kind of screeches to a halt there up around the measured move and up around the high. So as of lunchtime this morning, right? When we wrapped up our trade room this morning, right? We were pretty much packing things in. The buyers had their objective. And so right now we're coming off a situation where the buyers have control. They recently reached their objective, but looking at how the market reacted to that high, it's very obvious that these buyers took their profit and really haven't been able to retest the high. It's not until we saw this last little trap low here, two-legged pullback, trap low to reversal line, right, that they're now starting to see that really reliable shot here right now to go back and retest the high. Now, I would love to have seen this trap low much earlier on this morning, right? It would have been a lot easier, even up until late this afternoon. But right now, we're at the closing bell. We're coming into Asia right now. This is not going to be the most reliable time to trade this market. So what I'd really like to do is stay patient and wait for a little bit more information. Now remember, what's happening right now is the buyers got their objective, and now they're trying to get low enough on the chart to make it worth the time, right, or worth the risk for these buyers to buy the pullback, right? So we finally see this strong green candle as a good signal for the buyers, but it puts us pretty much halfway back to that target. So now we're expecting to see these buyers start to scale into this as price pulls back and retest that high. I think the next few hours are really going to give us a lot of information. What I'm looking for here in the short term is really one of two scenarios. One being a retest of the high, which confirms the buyers are still in control, or a move lower, which will definitely give sellers a chance here now to grab control and make a run back down. So let's take a look at both of those scenarios here right now. Again, I think you were a little bit late in the day to want to be buying this pullback, a little bit too low volume in the overnight session to really want to be buying high. There just really isn't a lot of reliability in that. Here's the most important thing. The buyers have to get back to that 44.84, and they're most likely on their second attempt. 1 and 2, right? 2 tries, 1 try, 2 try. So the buyers really need to get back up and get to that 44.84. That's the most important thing right now for the buyers. If they can get back to that high, then all is good in the buyer land, right? All is good for the buyers, and now we start watching to see what happens from there. So let's say, for example, we go back to 44.84. Right, we get a double top at very least, right? We retest 84. Then this becomes a trading range. Right? Then it becomes a trading range. Then I'm looking for one of two scenarios. Either a rotation back down, 1 try, 2 try, and back up, right? Call it a spike in range, right? Spike in range. Okay, so again, All of this is based on the assumption that in the next few hours we retest that high, right? Because we're concerned the buyers may not have the goods, right, to keep it going anymore. So if they do retest the 84, then we consider this to be a range. And one scenario is that we now look for, right, that rotation back down and buy the low of that range. Beautiful. Okay, maybe we get a chance to use that trend line again, right, as an area of support. But they've got to get to that 84 to really make that a reliable trade. The other option now, right, would be, again, we get back to 84. Now this becomes a trading range, and we'll look for that fake out breakout through that high, right? Strong breakout, get that moving average up above it, right, and then hold that pullback from there. It's going to be tight quarters as the market tries to push through that high, so just be aware of that, right? Want to see strength up. If we do end up going through that high all the way up to that triple measured move, don't worry about that, because remember, most of the time we're going to see that two-legged pullback and then a retest of the measured move anyways. So again, buyers have to go back and retest that high just really to keep this legitimate, right, for the buyers right now. It's either from there we drop down and buy the low, or from there we go up, two-legged pullback, right, and grab it from there. And again, if it pushes through that high all the way to the measured move, don't worry about that, because most of the time we're going to see that two-legged pullback, right, and anyway, right, and go back up to retest that measured move. So really, as far as I'm concerned, the buyers have to hold this pullback now and retest that high at 44.84. How does this market turn bearish? Well, really anything on strength, with the exception of seeing it kind of tiptoe its way lower here, as long if it tiptoes lower, this will be seen more of as a flag, and we'll still pretty much be looking for buying opportunities here as well, right? But if it does end up just dumping, which is what I would expect is going to happen, again, we'll see that on the S&P in a moment. Then we want to look at this now as a bear market. The objective will be back down to retest that low at 65, and ultimately when we see that drop off the high here, that's going to be a trend reversal. And anytime we see a trend reversal, I'm always looking for that two-legged pullback, right, to sell high tomorrow. So the key is going to be, again, for the sellers, we're not looking for this. We're not looking for chop, 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 right, because that's going to be a flag, because there won't be enough separation. We'll still see buyers still holding on, right, to that bull trend, and they'll want to go back to retest the high. What you want to see as a seller is dump, right? You want to see these buyers walk away, and it should happen, right? But we get to see proof, though, before we can go guessing on that. If we do see the roll over here and the drop off, right, don't chase after it. Stay patient, mark up these resistance lines, right, overhead, and then again, look for that two-legged correction, which is usually going to be the most reliable pattern after we see, again, a trend reversal. Specific situations call for specific strategies. In a trend reversal, I always look to avoid that drop and then look for that two-legged correction back up. So buyers really got to see this thing back to retest the high for that spike in range to buy low, or buy that fake out, breakout, pull back to new highs, or sellers wait for the proof to drop it off the high, and then we'll go from there. Let's keep rolling. Now, here on the S&P, here's what we may have to look forward to tomorrow on crude oil. The S&P is bearish now and trying to rotate back down to the low of the day after the buyers failed to keep prices pushing to new highs this afternoon. The plan for tomorrow is to do our best to sell high and avoid the middle of this range using this hidden bear channel and that battle zone up around 26 as the resistance levels we need, right, to sell high with a target going back down to that 24.20 and a quarter. Remember, one of the big keys here about this chart, it's a great example, is that when the bears had control at the beginning of the day today, right, the bears started off this morning on the S&P in full control. But much like crude oil, they stalled out and they couldn't keep making new lower lows, right? That higher low pretty much opens the door for the buyers to take control, and they took control shortly thereafter. Remember, after the sellers lose control, the buyer's objective is to get right back to retest the high. And you can see that's exactly what they did. They went right back to retest the high. Now, after they retest the high, this is a pretty strong bull market. So it's not surprising whatsoever to see the market pull back, trap low, and do it again. I mentioned this earlier on crude oil. Don't forget, I've covered a lot in this nightly newsletter, and I know some of you are probably like, what is going on? There's a lot of information covered here every night. Not to worry, though. It's why I call this the School of Trade. I'm going to teach you guys every step of the way in our beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels of membership, and we execute the strategy every day in a real-time environment with all of our advanced members in our trade room. You want to learn more? Not a problem. Grab that free trial on the homepage of the website. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link over here to the website at schooloftrade.com and make sure you learn more about what it means to be a member, learn more about our free trial. And again, we got beginner, intermediate, and advanced level membership. That way, no matter where you are in your journey to becoming a successful trader, we've got a home for you here at School of Trade headquarters here in Los Angeles. Guys, I'm always here to answer your questions. Hit me up on live support if you have any questions along the way. You can also email me. My email address is jj@schooloftrade.com. I'm excited to work with you guys, learn more about our strategies on our free trial. Don't forget to come join me tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time with all of our advanced members. And last but not least, have a great evening out there. Be well out there, right? Be nice to each other, and be here tomorrow. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.